Hello and welcome into Command Center. While the players are away before training camp begins, we continue to grind here in the studio. And we are going into the trenches to discuss the expectations for Washington's offensive line heading into the season. Plus, the offensive line has a new quarterback to protect. So we sit down with Carson Wentz to find out how he is fitting in with his newest teammates. And with some time to kill before the start of training camp, we take a look back at the top plays from the 2021 season. Plus, some of our alumni share their favorite memories from their playing days in Washington, which is always a good time to reminisce about beating Dallas. And welcome in Julie Donaldson, Logan Paulson, and Santana Moss. We have all the rookies officially signed to their deals, which means maybe it's time for the rookies to go buy dinner for everybody? Is that typically what happens? Depends?
That depends. I mean, something that I'm not going to ask them to do, but most of these guys want a dinner.
It's got to be a little something.
Want some pie pies, want something done. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it happens.
Yeah, for sure. But I think sometimes it's nice. Yeah. Team building activity. If it's done respectfully, I think it's an appropriate thing.
Done respectfully, meaning do not drag up the bill so high. Keep it reasonable, but yes, welcome into the NFL and hopefully some good paychecks as well. As long as performances on the field back it all up too, right? Let's get straight to that. Talking about performances on the field, let's talk about the offensive line because we've had some changes there over this last offseason. Brandon Sheriff, Eric Flowers lost them to free agency, but the team did bring in veterans Andrew Norwell and Trai Turner, both of which have spent time with the coaching staff in Carolina and excited about what this group has to offer.
Yeah, I mean, it's an open room. You're definitely giving out ideas, bouncing ideas off each other and giving feedback. When you got, I don't want to get this wrong, but I think it's 4 of us in year 9 in that room. So when you got some experience, you try to get at invaluable experience, the experience that you could get without having to go through it. It's a lot of reps that I have out there on the field and a lot of reps that other guys have. So when you have young guys in that room and you can give them experience from the eyes of what you've seen versus them going through and making the same mistakes, I feel like it helps the room.
Shifting on the offensive line, they did bring in Trai Turner and Andrew Norwell. By the way, that hat, he said, it's just for swag. Don't get caught up in it. It's, of course, we support the Nationals here in this area. Do you anticipate, because Brandon Sheriff was a perennial all-star, of course, and we talked about how dominant he was to this offensive line. What can we anticipate a drop-off? Should there be one? What can we anticipate with these changes, basically?
I mean, offensive line is a weird thing because it's 5 people, and it's not just 5 individuals. It's how those 5 guys play together, right? So even though you have one really good player in Brandon Sheriff, a guy that was in and out of the lineup a little bit, if the aggregate of these new guys is better, like the group's going to play better, right? And so I think Norwell, Turner, having been in this offense before, I think he mentioned that there are a whole bunch of guys who've been in the league for a long time. Bleno's another guy. It helps galvanize guys. They know how to play together, and I think that's really important. I think even though they're older, some of them have kind of had, maybe on the downside of their career, the fact that they're going to come together and play really well, I think is going to maybe lead to an increase in production.
I think one of the things that you need the most on any team when you speaking of veteran guys, is up front with the offensive linemen. Mm-hmm. Those guys who've been in the trenches know what it takes, have been around a system, can bring that leadership and especially when you have a very versatile group. These guys can basically play guard or tackle. A lot of these guys are center. You have a lot of guys that can play different positions. So it's great to know that we have a couple of guys here that are veterans that's going to be able to lead these guys on, and I think they'll be fine though.
You did talk about being able to move around and have that ability to be at different spots on the offensive line. We've seen, sadly and unfortunately, too many times where that's been necessary. Right. You have to be diverse and be able to where you can line up. They went and consciously brought in a couple of guys that were familiar with head coach Ron Rivera and his coaching staff. How much is that familiarity of what to expect and kind of what they know they're going to get from the O-line? How much do you think that factors in?
Well, I mean, when you're in a run scheme, it's very similar to a pass game. There are certain rules and certain principles that you abide by here, and they do a lot of jet sweep here, a lot of motion, a lot of post-snap blocking assignments, right, where they move gaps and stuff, and that affects the defense. And if you've been in a system like that for a long time, you know the adjustments, you know how to handle it, you know all these different variables, and like the longer I was in Kyle Shanahan's offense, the more effective I became. I just knew the adjustments, I knew what to do, I knew the calls, and I think that's the same thing with these guys here.
Yeah, no doubt. You said it right.
Yeah. Is there any part of this line that maybe you say, okay, I need to see when we get to training camp, I need to see certain player at this position step up?
I don't think so. I mean, I think one of the things that we saw that was, that opened all our eyes to see the young guys last year be able to flourish in those spots. You know, I mean, you had guys in and out of the lineup and still coming in and playing well. So now you bring in a little, veteran leadership that's going to be able to add to what those guys know or don't know. So I don't think I need to see much, but you are going to keep an eye on some of those new guys just to see if they're going to be able to, what level they're going to play on, while they're here.
John Matskos, great offensive line coach. They always give credit for him being able to get them ready no matter what position they have to play as well. Chase Rouillet coming back from injury. Would nice to be having him back out there on the field as well. And if we are talking about the offensive line, well, how about this? Congratulations. Charles Leno's wife shared this photo last week when baby girl number 3 was on the way. But Charles was in Texas picking up things from their old house. Luckily, the offensive line came to the rescue with Andrew Norwell and Chase Rouillet able to help until Charles was able to get there for his wife. Now, if that's not a good sign of teamwork, not really sure what is. Congratulations to Charles, Jen, and their beautiful family, girl dad. Now, the offensive line will be tasked with protecting new quarterback Carson Wentz, who joined the Commanders this offseason in a trade from the Indianapolis Colts. Wentz is no stranger to the NFC East after spending the first 5 years of his career in Philadelphia. But what else do we know about our newest quarterback? Let's go inside the 20.
All right, burgundy or gold? I'm going gold, college colors. Office or Parks and Rec, hate to admit, not watched either of them. Sweet or sour? I'm gonna go with sweet. North Dakota or South Dakota, is that really a question? Basketball or baseball? We'll go baseball. That was probably more of my love as a kid. City or the country? Country for sure. Music or podcast? It's a great question, depends on the mood, but probably music. Lucky Charms or Captain Crunch? Probably Lucky Charms, even though I don't eat much cereal anymore. Breakfast or dinner? Dinner for sure, even though when I was a kid, breakfast was everything to me. Kickball or dodgeball? Dodgeball, I'm quarterback. Mountains or the beach? I'm going to the mountains all day. TV show or movie? TV shows, normally. Chess or checkers? Chess, even though it's been a minute since I played chess. Ross, Chandler, or Joey? Joey, because he's hilarious. Fly or be invisible? Fly, that would be pretty sick. Pet monkey or llama? Pet monkey or llama? I would take a pet monkey because they're a lot smarter than llamas. Batman or Spider-Man? Probably Batman because he's just a real normal dude with a lot of high-tech gear. Instagram or Twitter? Instagram, even though I don't live on really either of them very often. Tea or coffee? Coffee 2 to 3 times a day. Vanilla or chocolate? Vanilla, always.
The addition of Wentz will hopefully help Washington's touchdown totals. Last season, they ranked 20th with a total of 21 passing TDs. If you look at the combined totals over the past 4 seasons, Carson Wentz has thrown for 91 total touchdowns, which is 20 more than Washington has thrown over that same time. Still to come, with a bit of downtime before the season starts, we take a look back at the top plays from 2021. And as punter Tress Way prepares for his 9th season here in Washington, he shares a few unique facts about himself after the break.
This is Tress Way. You're watching the Command Center. So I would say the 6 fun facts about me all have to do with my wife. But we both went to the University of Oklahoma. She played 2 sports in college. I didn't. She was first team all conference. I wasn't. She was an All-American. I wasn't. She was a national champion. I wasn't. She got drafted to play professional fast pitch softball. I'm an undrafted free agent. And whenever we both went pro out of college, she had a bigger signing bonus than I did. So I call it the Big 6.
You have to love Tress putting his wife's accomplishments ahead of his own. A good husband right there. Now, unfortunately, when we talk about the best plays from the team, well, Tress doesn't always make it as a punter, but we are going to show the best plays from last year. Here are the best from 2021.
On the fake, Heineke floating one, end zone. Oh, one-hander caught for the touchdown by Thomas.
It was a little token play action, and this is just a bust by the Raiders secondary. What a catch. Looks like he's going up for a big rebound. I said to you in pregame, we talked to Logan Thomas for a minute. I walked away, I said, I forget how big this guy is.
3rd and 9, Heineke airing it deep for McLaurin down the left sideline. What an adjustment! Makes the leaping grab and a first down right in front of Dante Jackson. Heineke off play action. There's Fowler in the backfield. Heineke gets away, lobs it in the end zone, and it's caught! It's a touchdown! McLaurin back on the field! And out of the scramble situation, he ends up with 6.
And this is just an absolute prayer to McLaurin.
56 yards, the longest play of the game. Heineke throws it into the end zone. Touchdown! What a throw, and Ricky Seals-Jones is there for Washington. The back end of it got both feet down in his first catch with Washington.
100%. We'll see. Taylor Heineke got himself into a nice little groove. I love what Scott Turner's done for him, getting him on the move.
And here's DeAndre Carter. Speaking of going on the move, Carter on the move all the way for his first NFL touchdown. 101 yards for DeAndre Carter. Takes it to the house, and Washington takes the lead.
Pressure on. Dumps it off on a screen to Gibson. And Antonio Gibson running like a receiver. Can he be caught by Tre'Davious White? Eventually, yes. All the way inside the 10 and into the end zone for a touchdown. Ruled a touchdown, and that extra lunge.
Wow.
Hit the pylon.
What a great effort.
Unbelievable.
You don't want to just run it down their throat.
3 tight ends. Hurts will pull it on play action, and it's dropped by Dallas Goedert. He had nothing but green in front of him.
They're saying it hit off his heel and bounced up to Collins, I think. Let's see. We'll get a good look right here. Ball. Heel. Oh,
wow. Ricochets right to Landon Collins. It was ruled incomplete. The punt team was on the field, and it went off his heel.
Oh, wow.
And now in motion. Heineke pump fakes, puts some air under it. McLaurin wide open, and it is caught. Was he in bounds? Yes, he was. A miraculous catch by McLaurin. Watch right here as he's getting beat. He grabs him, hooks him. Saw a similar call, and then watch this catch. I mean, watch this concentration. Right through the hands.
Pressure up the middle. Heineke spins away. Nice move. Sets. Launches deep. Looking for Sims. He's got it. And they say no. He's out of bounds. Oh, Cam Sims. Incredible effort against Diggs, but he did not land in bounds.
Diggs has this ball in his sights. Let's see. Gets his left foot. It looks like his left hip is in bounds, Kev.
That's a touchdown.
I think that's a touchdown.
That is an incredible play. Let's see.
Yeah, his left knee is in. That's
down.
A touchdown.
3rd and 7. Heineke all day to throw. Nobody open. Now McKissick pops free, and he found him. McKissick runs through the tackle, down the sideline. McKissick going airborne. J.D. McKissick soaring to the goal line, and he's out of bounds inside the 1. No, it's a touchdown.
Wow.
The officials confer, and it is 6 for Washington, and they take the lead. This is a hard one to tell. He goes airborne.
But that looks like Reggie Bush right there. Holy cow, he took off from like the 4 or 5 yard line. Wow.
Still to come, we had plenty of alumni back at the park during mini camp, and that meant plenty of stories were shared. We take a look back at some of their favorite moments next. And Commanders training camp coming up July 27th through August 18th. Camp will be held at the park out in Ashburn, Virginia. Fans can enter a lottery for a chance to win tickets to come out and watch practice. The team will also hold an open practice at FedEx Field for any fans who want to check that out. For free tickets and more information, head on over to commanders.com/training camp. During this month's minicamp, we invited over 75 of the franchise's alumni to the facility. Former Washington legends got the chance to reunite with their old teammates while getting a chance to check out the current team in action. Of course, when you get so many former players together, the stories from their glory days never stop.
In-game memory, I'll probably have to say it might have been 2005, I believe, 4 or 5. We were in Dallas. We won on like a last drive pass, like Mark threw a pass Santana. That's one of my fondest memories. Now, being from Dallas too, going back home. So yeah, I mean, we had some great memories here.
Now, the game that Derek Dockery was referring to is none other than the Monday Night Miracle against the Cowboys in 2005. Santana Moss caught a pair of fourth-quarter touchdowns to give Washington the 14-13 victory. And since we have Santana here with us, well, let's hit the field to relive that memorable game.
We're out here in the bubble. We're going to talk about some routes with the cowboy killer himself, Santana Moss. He's going to talk about his favorite route. Now, what's it called, Tana? I forget.
Dino route.
And what is the Dino route?
Post, corner, post.
Lots of different moves there. We're going to talk about it versus 2 specific coverages and the coverage that you got on Dallas against in the Monday Night Miracle. So take it away.
Okay, well, so the post, corner, post, the Dino route is the route that I, grew to love. When I was in New York, we had to play the Indianapolis Colts twice a year. Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, and those guys. And Aaron Glenn was a teammate of mine, the same guy that I was able to run this route on against the Cowboys. Being in practice, being a young pup, they used to tell me to run the scout team sometime. Even though I was a first-round pick, they still made me run the scout team. So I would always run this Dino route against Marvin Harrison. And, come game time, I'm watching us against the Colts. And Marvin Harrison would kill us on the same route that I ran over and over and over in practice. So fast forward to 2005, we're getting up to the Dallas game. I find out who's going to be covering me. I say, Coach, can I run a Dino route against Aaron Glenn? It seems to me that no matter how good Aaron Glenn is, he always takes the bait. Marvin Harrison has been killing him each time we play these guys. So I learned to run it 2 different ways. I love it. The ideal way to run this Dino route, you want off coverage.
Off coverage.
So off coverage would be ideal. So what I want to do, what I want the defender to do is when I attack him and when I stick my foot in the ground and run the post pattern, I want him to jump that. If he jump it, I have him where I want him. I'm going to cut back out. He's going to retreat.
And I'm going to undercut this because I think he's running a corner.
And now I put my foot in the ground and now I go back to the post. That's the ideal coverage. That's the ideal route. And that's what I want him to do. But when I was in Dallas that particular night, I didn't get that coverage. I got an off coverage.
Off cover 3, right? So we got a post safety. We got this guy off here.
Exactly. So I ran my first stem on nobody. So I literally ran up the field. I planted and I did this. He sat. When I did this, he sat even more. And then I banged it to the 8, to the post, to the pylon, and the rest was history. So as a receiver, you have to know it's going to be different coverages. It's going to be different leverage. And when you present it with that leverage or coverage, you have to know how to adjust. I was able to adjust. Mark Brunell did what he should do, put the ball out there, and I was able to attack it and give us 6 points.
You ever get tired of talking about that game, Santana?
Never.
Of course, because it's Dallas.
Trust me, everywhere I go is always that. I ask the question all the time, did I do anything else while I was here? I mean, it's always a Monday Night Miracle, but I love it because I asked the fan, why was that so significant to them? And they was like, well, the years before you guys, they had Super Bowls, and our era, the Monday Night Miracle, stood out more than our playoff, run.
Right.
So I guess I have to, live with that.
It kind of goes to talk about the rivalries we have in sports, and a lot of times now it used to be teams, but now with players moving all over the place, people kind of question like how much do we lose that rivalry aspect? It's never lost between Washington and Dallas, and that's just another example of it. So
I found out the hard way, but I'm glad I was on the good side of it.
The winning end of that?
Yeah, the winning end of it.
Yeah.
Is Dallas still the team to beat now?
Personally, I don't think so. I think right now Philadelphia seems to be moving in that direction. I think they've done a really nice job with that defensive getting better this offseason. Their offensive line is probably the best maybe in the league. And they've got some good skill position players now to support Jalen Hurts. And again, Jalen Hurts is kind of the weak link there. But I think that's the team. And I think Washington and Dallas are much closer than people think, a lot of national pundits. So I think that's going to be really competitive games this year.
I think Dallas just stands out because of the owner, and that star, and they're always going to be known or named as the America's team. But, they do have some great talent over there, but it seems like they just find a way to, I'm not sure if it's coaching or it's just the guys that's not getting together, not making it happen together. But no, I'm with Logan with that. Philly, it seems to be the team. Although the Giants have got some Super Bowls in the last, 10 years? 2 of them, I guess you can say. But who knows, man? Every season is another chance for another team to take that.
And in the NFC East, it constantly is switching. But how much? Look, that loss to Dallas last year, it hurts. It still hurts. I know guys probably will sit there and go into anytime we meet Dallas week 4 and then week 18 to close out the season. They're going to remember. They're going to remember that last game and go in, I'm sure, with a little extra motivation as well.
Indeed.
I think so, yeah.
It's what it's all about. Rivalries, the NFC East, beating Dallas, beating the Eagles, beating the Giants. But we're going to say goodbye on Command Center. Thanks for joining us. For Santana and Logan, I'm Julie, and we'll see you next time. And hey, let's go get the NFC East.